You know that fruit tree in your backyard? Well, turns out it's living a double life. It's hiding a secret identity, one that has literally shaped agriculture for centuries. And today, we're going to uncover the beautiful fraud that's growing right there in your garden. So let me start by asking you a really simple question. Take a look at that tree. You probably went to the nursery and bought a Honeycrisp or a Granny Smith. But is that what the tree really is? From the very tips of its leaves all the way down to the ends of its roots? The answer, and this might surprise you, is almost certainly no. What you're actually looking at is a biological masterpiece known as a chimera. And no, I'm not talking about the fire-breathing beast from Greek mythology. I mean something way more practical and, frankly, a whole lot more clever.
See, in the world of horticulture, a chimera is a single tree that's actually made from two completely different plants, surgically joined together to live and grow as one. Now, this isn't a genetic hybrid, it's a physical fusion. Two individuals, one body. It's an absolute masterpiece of human engineering.
And this isn't just some botanical oddity you find in a science lab. This is the very foundation of modern fruit growing. It's the reality of almost every single fruit tree you have ever seen or eaten from. So here's a really great way to think about it. The root system, or what we call the rootstock, is basically the secret operating system of the tree. You don't see it, right? It's just running in the background, but it dictates everything. How big the tree gets, what diseases it can fight off, and even how quickly it starts giving you fruit. Okay, so to really understand this chimera, we need to meet the two players involved in this incredible partnership. You have the Scion and you have the rootstock, and each one has a very, very distinct job to do. So, you might be asking, why go to all this trouble? Well, here is the absolute crucial point. Fruit trees don't come true from seed. If you plant a seed from your favorite Granny Smith apple, you will not get a Granny Smith tree. You'll get a total genetic lottery ticket, probably some wild, scraggly tree with tiny, sour apples. Grafting is the only way to get the exact fruit you want.
And this is where our two players come in. The Scion is the top part of the tree, the bit you actually see. It's just a cutting taken from a tree we already know makes delicious fruit, and its only job is to produce that exact same fruit. The rootstock, on the other hand, is the bottom part, the hidden engine room. It's chosen for totally different, more rugged and practical reasons, like its tough roots and sturdy trunk.
So while the Scion gets all the glory for the delicious fruit, the real magic, the real advantage is all happening underground. Let's dive into the superpowers that the rootstock brings to this partnership. Okay, first up, let's talk about size. An apple tree that's just left to its own devices, one that grew from a random seed, can easily shoot up to 30 feet or even more. That's a massive, inefficient tree that's pretty dangerous and really difficult to harvest. Now, compare that to a modern tree that's grown on what's called a dwarfing rootstock. That tree can be kept at just 6 feet tall. This was a complete revolution. It allowed growers to plant what they call pedestrian orchards, where you can pick everything while just walking on the ground. It dramatically boosted efficiency and yields. This incredible control comes from a carefully developed toolkit. In the early 20th century, researchers created the Malling series of rootstocks. Honestly, think of it like a dial. You want a tiny 6-foot tree? Okay, use an M.9 rootstock. Want something bigger, maybe more drought-tolerant? Go with an MM111. Growers can now precisely pick the final size of their tree before they even plant it. But hey, controlling size is just the beginning. The most critical superpowers of the rootstock are all about defense. It's about giving the tree the below-ground armor it needs to survive in a pretty hostile world. And there is no better story to illustrate this than the tale of Phylloxera. Back in the 1800s, this microscopic louse from North America somehow made its way to Europe. It started feasting on the roots of European grapevines, which had zero natural defense. It absolutely wiped out entire industries, and it really threatened to end French wine forever. So who was the hero of the story? The exact same North American roots that had evolved alongside the pest for centuries and were totally immune to it. By grafting the delicate European wine grape scions onto these tough, resistant American rootstocks, the entire industry was saved. It was the ultimate biological shield. And the list of superpowers just keeps on going. A good rootstock can trick a scion into making fruit in just 2 or 3 years, instead of the decade it might take for a seedling. It can allow a tree to thrive in heavy clay or really salty soil, or survive a brutal winter it could never, ever handle on its own roots. So, now that you know the secret, I'm going to turn you into a horticultural detective. You can actually find the evidence of this fusion on nearly any fruit tree out there. And yeah,
That includes the one in your own backyard.
Here's how you do it. First, go look near the base of the trunk, just a few inches above the soil. You're looking for a slight bulge, maybe a scar, or even just a change in the bark's texture. That right there, that's the graft union. The exact spot where two plants became one. And hey, if you ever see new shoots growing from below that line, those are suckers, coming from the rootstock. You should always prune those off. You know, this technology might be centuries old, but has never been more important than it is today. As we face a whole new set of environmental challenges, scientists are once again turning to the humble rootstock to find some solutions. Using incredible modern tools like CRISPR gene editing, researchers are literally designing the next generation of super rootstocks. I'm talking about creating roots that need less water, roots that are better at pulling nutrients from the soil so we can use less fertilizer, and even root systems designed to sequester more carbon to help fight climate change. So the next time you bite into a perfect apple, just remember this partnership. It's this beautiful fraud that gives us the best of both worlds. And it really captures this idea perfectly. The Scion, the fancy fruit variety, it might get its name on the label, but it is the invisible, hardworking rootstock that truly owns a tree's destiny.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought. This is a story about a hidden partnership that reshaped our entire food supply. So the real question is, if we can design a tree's whole destiny from the roots up, what other invisible, essential partnerships are out there, just waiting for us to engineer and shape our collective future?